Now, a recent survey showed that 83% of young farmers wanted the right to bear arms to protect their property in a bid to stop rural crime. But how far can you go to stop these criminals?
Joining us now are Michael Hackett and John Tully, who between them have been robbed 4 times in the past 2 years, and also solicitor Karen Walsh, who specialises in farming law. Thank you all for coming
welcome.
in.
Thank you.
Every time we speak to a farmer on this show now, there seems to be a story about burglary. Tell us about your own story.
I was, in June last year, we were at silage until 1 o'clock in the morning, and we were back in the yard at 5:30, and we were robbed in between. My son runs a small service business, milking machines and calf feeders, and all his tools were taken out of the shed and the vans, and that was it. And this year then in June again they came back and they took 26 rolls of silage wrap.
What would they be worth, Michael?
€87 each.
87 each?
Yes.
So they're worth a lot of money.
A lot of money, and they had to carry them, where they took them where they parked their van or whatever they had to carry them 40 yards, which meant they're 27 kilos each.
And the first time you got robbed, you were looking at literally thousands, nearly 10,000.
£8,500 worth of tools.
When you talk about you were down in the yard, how far were you from your dwelling house?
Next door to the farmyard.
So this all happened under your nose, literally?
Yes, within 50 yards of the house.
And you didn't hear anything, or you didn't see anyone?
I have a German Shepherd dog, and he obviously went down the yard when they came in. I didn't hear him, and he probably barked, and they beat him. So it cost €150 to get him fixed up after it.
And we often hear as well of drones going around different farmyards as well. That's a fairly common thing.
That seems to be getting common now, and people are getting scared about that because their privacy is really intruded. You know, and women and children, my own daughter-in-law and wife, are getting frightened in the houses.
Michael, whatever about said some of the gear being taken and stuff like that, I'd say that just inside you must be worried all the time.
Yeah, because you don't know what you're going to meet any morning when you come down, or if you come down during the night to calve a cow or anything, you don't know who's in the yard watching you.
Do you feel like that sometimes when you're walking down, especially in the middle of the night to calve a cow? Do you feel that people are watching you?
You do. Now you do at present. Years ago it wouldn't cross your mind, but in the last few years...
What do you think of that survey there, the 83% of young farmers? This came out during the ploughing championships, that 83% of younger farmers coming up now feel that they should be allowed to bear arms to protect themselves.
Yes, but nobody wants to be the one to fire the shot. And nobody wants... We're not here. We don't want to be here. But nobody wants to shoot anybody.
Do you have a gun?
I do. But you'd prefer if the law protected them. The police, you can't blame the Gardaí. They're doing the best they can. They're going into the courts and they seem to be a revolving door. They're back out, you know.
And they know what they're doing. These are highly sophisticated operations that these guys have. As you say, with all the stuff they took from you, it's not 1 or 2 fellas, it's 4, 5 and 6 fellas together.
It must be. It should have to be that, because to carry 26 rolls of silage wrap 40 yards, one fellow wouldn't do it in 2 hours.
Now, John, you've been robbed as well.
I've been robbed twice.
You're a shopkeeper?
That's right, yeah, in Two Boroughs. About 18 months ago I was robbed. The first time between, say, the robbery and damage, approximately 15 grand. The second time roughly around about 10,000. Like himself, roughly around about a year afterwards as well, like I mean. So basically, unfortunately, this is all local knowledge, and anybody who tell you different, they're wrong, because it is local knowledge. These people know the ins and outs like the back of their hands.
They know your movements.
Well, they know your movements, but like where they came in my shop, like I mean, was in a deli area. They had to know the premises like the back of their hand. There's no way a person came down from Dublin and just sussed that over one day. This is solidly local knowledge. We know that ourselves, but unfortunately, resources is a major problem. The guards are not on the ground. Like I mean, we are fighting. You know, the courts are just letting them out. Like I mean, they seem to be. They're getting. Bail the whole time, you know what I mean, and there's no proper, you know, we need stronger sentencing, stronger laws to stop this once and for all.
We can actually see CCTV footage of them coming in there as well, and they took a lot of cigarettes from you. What were they worth?
They'd be roughly, the first one would be roughly around about €8,000. Like I mean, these two guys that came in here, you know what I mean, they came into a deli first of all, they couldn't get back out because the bags they had was so big, they were huge. And then after that, they went down to a toilet area, busted the window, made bits of the window, made bits of a door. You know what I mean, they don't care. Once they get away, that's it, they're gone. And like I mean, I don't blame the guards. The guards were out to me within minutes. I have top quality surveillance systems, everything. They just
But
went
it
down and
didn't
cut the
stop them.
power lines.
Yeah.
They don't care. There's no sense of direction of what they want. They
Now,
just
Karen,
take.
you work with farmers all the time. You work with people, landowners, shop owners, rural clients. What can these people do to protect themselves?
Well, the legislation governing this area is the Criminal Law Defence and the Dwelling Act 2011, and it affords protection to homeowners against people who enter their home illegally to allow them to protect themselves. So to gain the benefit of the legislation, you must firstly believe that someone is a trespasser in your home and their intention is to commit a crime. And the second thing then is that the force you used must be reasonable in the circumstances.
Okay, but what does that mean? Does that mean I can pick up a gun or a stick or a thing, or what does it mean?
It's a very grey area, and the Court of Appeal has different tests and how they judge that, but it depends on the circumstances. And of course, any situation will happen under great tension, great anxiety, great stress, and
it has to go to court to be tested. In other words,
yeah. Ultimately, you're depending on the court to decide whether you are reasonable or not.
Okay. Loads of questions coming in, Karen. Here's one, a very interesting one. I think the law may have changed about this topic. If an intruder is injured on your property, who's liable?
Well, under the legislation, it states that specifically that if someone comes into your home with the intention of committing a crime and they get injured, or you damage their property, that they can't be held liable unless a court. But again, this
is all very, very great. You have to prove that they were going to commit a crime. They could say, well, sorry, I saw lovely flowers inside in the garden and I wanted to take them.
Yeah, exactly. It is a grey area.
This sounds stupid. Like, I don't get it. Like, say, for laws like this, I think it should be very, very clear what's happening here.
It's a difficult subject, and if it veers too much in favour of the homeowner, then there's the potential for innocent people to be injured.
Yeah, I suppose the only thing is this 2011 Act. Before the 2011 Act, the reality is, you know, me as a trespasser could sue you, to be honest, before it. So I suppose that is one thing. But, I mean, it is enshrined in our Constitution that people cannot come onto our property under Article 40. So, I mean, it's there, but it's not clear what you should do, and that's the bottom line. What if someone comes into your house, in other words, trespassing? Do you have to retreat, or can you use force? You can use force, but only reasonable force. Is that right?
You can only use reasonable force, but in the legislation it specifically states that you can stand your ground. You don't have to retreat, even if there's an opportunity for you to. But what I say to everyone, and it is that if you have the opportunity, you should, and never put yourself in a situation where you are before a court and in danger. Yes.
Do you both have guns?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of using that gun, in the sense, after you were robbed twice, would you ever
think? After you were robbed, the
think?
morning after, you would.
Yeah.
But like, it should happen. These robberies are happening so fast that you wouldn't get time to get it out. All guns now have to be in special cages or locked.
Yeah.
Well, think about it as well, Michael. You'd be afraid as well that if you did produce a gun to these people who came onto your property, that they might take it off you and use it against you as well.
Yes, that's a bigger danger. Yeah.
That's a bigger danger.
Because there's usually 3 or 4 of them die.
Yeah.
And you're on your own, and you're frightened.
And they know
enough.
that as well.
Yeah.
They know there's probably no one else inside in the house.
The only
as well.
thing is, I suppose, when you are in a situation like you both are, and I'm sure a lot of your friends are in the same situation, you probably feel sometimes, you know what, I can't just sit down and just let these people come.
Yeah, I know.
Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah.
You would, but what can you do? You don't want to be the one to do, and you have a wife and maybe children in the house, and you have to protect them too, which is more important.
What do you feel about this?
Well, I personally would be against guns, really. Like, I mean, I hold a gun, but I wouldn't be into, as Michael said, like, I mean, to pull a trigger on somebody, it's very dangerous. Can you live with yourself after that? And I have a young family as well, like, I mean, so, but the bottom line is, if just put to me, I would have absolutely no problem in protecting myself, absolutely.
If you had to, if you were faced
absolutely,
with it.
if I have to. I mean, it's only a time bomb at the moment, because it's going to happen. I mean, the criminals are getting out. It's as simple as that. You know, I mean, they're being released on bail the whole time and suspended sentencing. So, like, I mean, unless our judges and our courts get stronger and we get stronger sentences, and that goes to Francis Fitzgerald, to change the laws once and for all and protect people in their homes and on their land, nothing will change, and somebody will get shot.
The law is not enough. It's not clear enough. Is what you're saying.
It's not clear enough.
We need prevention.
Okay.
But when they're on bail, the problem is they can commit crimes away because all the sentences are run concurrently.
I have a feeling, gentlemen and lady, we will be here again in the future chatting about this topic. Karen, Michael and John, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.